Well, Rob, the Dallas Cowboys did not do too hot, but at least we have CD Lamb getting the fantasy points, right?
Yeah, nothing like a solid zero because your head coach decided to use their best receiver as a running back. Gotta love it.
Yeah, we will talk about that and more in the upcoming Nick and Rob Homer Hour. Welcome to the Nick and Rob Homer Hour, and it's me, Nick, and we've got Rob here, and a lot of football ahead as an exciting week 3, a lot of upsets going out there. I mean, what'd you think of the football overall, Rob?
Overall, the football was great. To me, the game of the week probably happened last night as the Detroit Lions continue to say, hey, we don't rebuild, we reload, because that's always been the Detroit Lions way. And they're serious contenders. And the Ravens continue to show that primetime games are scary and that they also refuse to adapt. But hey, at least they're competitive, unlike a few teams that we get to dive into this week.
I think I heard it on the sports radio station, The Ticket, the best, and they said that was the Lions versus the Baltimore Ravens was such a great palate cleanser compared to the train wreck that was the Dallas Cowboys. And we're going to be talking about that, of course, in Eastside News. And hey, Rob, the Colts, huh?
The
I think we got
Colts,
ourselves a team here.
we do, and we're going to see if they're for real next week. But for now, the bubble isn't popped. The bandwagon is rolling. We have jumped on. Uh, we're foundational members of the of the Colts bandwagon for this year. And hey, undefeated so far. Have you bought your Daniel Jones MVP shirt yet?
I have not. I have not, but I'll tell you what, that's not a bad one to place bets on. And of course, we're going to end it with our week 4 picks, which, Rob, what kind of lead do you think you're going to get on me today? Because it has not been going well for me over here.
It hasn't been going well. It hasn't been going too much better for me. That being said, I looking ahead at the schedule, I think we're going to have pretty similar picks. I think
Probably, but
the Pats game might be the one where we might have a difference of opinion.
yeah, I'm really going to be interested in it. And we're going to find out our picks, talk about the Colts, and of course, kick it off with Eastside News. And speaking of which, let's kick it off. What do you think, Rob?
Let's do it.
This is Eastside News.
Rob, if you don't mind, I want to get my frustration out of the way, and then I'll cruise for the rest of the show. I'll be much more relaxed after
Sounds
that.
good.
Can we
Let's
with the Dallas
start
Cowboys?
Eastside News in Jerry World.
Of course, in Jerry World, where the Dallas Cowboys ended up losing to the Chicago Bears in a 31-14 train wreck of a game. Didn't score a point in the second half, and the Bears ran all over us, and we did not run back, as we'll find out with the stats. But Cowboys ended up getting 396 yards to the Bears 385. That is such a disservice to the actual game and play because that's not how it went down. And red zone efficiency, I mean, they were 2-3, the Bears, and then the Cowboys were only 1-4. Big turnover issue with the Dallas Cowboys where the Bears only had 1 fumble. The Cowboys had 3 interceptions and a fumble, and just a train wreck of a game. Again, penalties actually a lot better this week, although it's not that hard after that Giants-Cowboys game where the Cowboys got 4 penalties for 25 yards, and then the Bears got 6 for 41. I'm sorry, the 4 for 25 yards and then 6 for 41 for the Bears. But geez almighty. Again, Caleb Williams goes out there and goes 19 for 28, 298 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 sacks, no interceptions thrown. Notable plays include a 65-yard TD pass off a flea flicker, and it was a dime. I don't know. Did you see that one, Rob?
Yeah, I watched this game live because I have a vested interest in Caleb Williams. I have him on my dynasty team. He's not currently starting, but he's making plans to if he can just play the Cowboys every week. All I could say was wow. The receiver was wide open, but that throw just if you were to look up perfect NFL throw, like that's it. That throw is fantastic.
Yeah, and Caleb Williams is that same thing that Aaron Rodgers has. I can't think of any players comparable to it, but it's basically that just quick flick of the wrist, and for some odd reason, that thing just flies 70 yards, it feels like. So I was really impressed with the pass there. I'll give Caleb Williams that one. Coverage, not so much, and we'll get into that. Obviously, if you're a wide receiver because of this, a lot of people ended up doing well. Luther Burden the third got 3 receptions, 101 yards, 1 touchdown. He was the one that caught the 65-yard touchdown. DJ Moore caught a 4-yard TD pass, and DJ Moore looked really good out there. They're trying to use him as Debo Samuel-esque, where you're having him run the ball, and that's kind of their play style over there. And then DeAndre Swift got a 41-yard screen pass on a 3rd and 9, so another great example of what's wrong with this defense. Basically, they tore us up. Well, no punts. They killed us out there.
And I've got a question for you. And I understand that Matt Eberflus was planning on having Micah Parsons. And so he thought the zone defense would work better. Newsflash to Eberflus. Micah Parsons is in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
The stubbornness he seems to be showing where, they'll have to figure out my system. That's not a good coach. A good coach adapts his system to the strengths of his players.
Mm-hmm. And
if I was shoddy, I'd say, hey, switch up the game plan next week or you're fired.
Yeah, and before this game even started, you were running 90%, 97% zone. I actually don't know the stats on it. I'm kind of tired of looking at it. Actually, it's making me so sad.
I was reading a Sports Illustrated article before this week. It was 100% zone. They hadn't done a single snap not in zone. They hadn't done a single snap of man coverage all season.
It's just so infuriating. And nothing against the Chicago Bears. By the way, Ben Johnson, good play caller out there. He got us good on a couple of plays where he just outright beat us. I think my favorite one from Ben Johnson was they had an option to kick a field goal, go up by 13 late in the third quarter after a monster drive. Took 10 minutes off the clock in that third quarter. And it was 4th down, 4th and 3, and he said, I think I got him. I think I could beat him. And Ben Johnson went out there, made the play call, and he called the perfect play. Not that that's hard against this team. And, of course, they scored a touchdown. So I'm not poo-pooing Caleb Williams. I'm not poo-pooing the wide receivers' performance out there, but gosh, that defense is driving me crazy. And you hit the nail on the head, and I don't want to beat the dead horse, and I'm probably going to end up doing it week after week after week. The fact of the matter, you nailed it. The biggest problem with it is I watch this team the last 4 years all the time. And I actually recommend Eberflus, maybe watch this team because there were periods where the defense was really, really good. And it wasn't just Micah Parsons. It was also the secondary. You have talent on this team. You do. Donovan Wilson, for instance, he's not Troy Polamalu. I've never claimed him to be that, but he's a beast out there and you need to use him correctly. He is a guy that is a physical safety. He has never played zone or consistently like this. And he's not your guy that's going to go out and get interceptions. What he's there to do is ball hawk anywhere below the 10-yard line. And he's really good at it. And he hits hard. And a guy like Donovan Wilson, you are confusing the hell out of him with this zone coverage because you're basically telling the horse not to go as fast as you want to go. Donovan Wilson can do it. He's a phenomenal player. Just let him cook and maybe try a little man-to-man, even in the safety realm. one thing's for sure, especially with Caleb Williams, although not a problem this game, if you have a running quarterback, Donovan Wilson, great QB spy. He can snatch him. He's hyper fast and he hits real physical. Trayvon Diggs, since college, has not run zone. He runs a man-to-man scheme, okay? Dan Quinn built this team to do a certain style, and you're basically trying to instill your style. I love what you said about knowing your coverages and things like knowing what your talents are with this team. Because I saw this one thing on Bill Belichick and Nick Saban that hits it's just a beautiful, beautiful theory. They never hired a defensive coordinator that didn't go against their style because they understood that they built this style for a reason and they just want someone to match that style. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to not call blitz or anything like that. But if they run a 3-4 with man-to-man with the team that they have out there, that's who they're wanting to go out there on the field. And Jerry, being Jerry, knew that Eberflus was an ex-head coach, used to coach us. He was our linebackers coach during the Garrett era, which is a glorified era, and decided to bring him back because he's just a name. And I just don't think Eberflus was up to snuff at this. It's clear as day. It's just not a pretty defense out there.
No, it's not. Granted, don't look at Bill Belichick's current team and their defense. We don't need to talk about the fact that they gave up 34 points to UCF and lost. Belichick used to be fantastic. But I think if the Cowboys plan on contending, either Eberflus has to completely change up what he's doing, or he needs to go, or they need to come out and say, "Hey, we're going to put CeeDee Lamb on IR for the season. We're just going to pop him away. We're going to see who we can unload, and we're going to rebuild in the future." But that's not everything that Jerry has said. Everything that the team has said is that's not their plan. They don't look like
not at all.
Them versus Miami would be a fun matchup.
Yeah, and I think we could smoke Miami just because we'll get into that when we get into the Miami Dolphins. But
first to 70, you're absolutely
right. For sure right now. I mean, it is bad. Which, by the way, the Miami Dolphins are the last place defense in the league right now. But who's number 2, like second to worst? Your Dallas Cowboys. So yeah. It is really, really, really bad for them over there. And there's a lot of things you could do. Look, I get it. Micah Parsons is gone. The pass rush is not there. And the pass rush, it was embarrassing. Caleb Williams did not get a sack the entire game. First time in his NFL career, never gotten that. Never gotten that, which is just shocking. He's been in the league now 2 years and didn't get away with one without a sack. And the Cowboys couldn't sack him. But I think a lot of it has to do with coverage, too. If you cover them just a little longer, you know that's where your firepower is. Donovan Wilson, Trayvon Diggs, Malik Hooker. That's your 3 right now that you have to have performing really well. And everyone else needs to do their part to assist them. But you've got to get that coverage fixed because if it's not, the pass rush isn't going to improve. And I'm a pass rush first, secondary later kind of guy. But you got to play to some of your strengths, and Eberflus is just not doing it right now, for sure.
No, he's not. Any thoughts on CD real quick?
Okay. So the CeeDee Lamb situation is a great thing that I've been keep on hearing about over and over and over again, where a lot of people are Monday morning quarterback in this one. It's a fluke play. Yes, he ran an end around. He runs plenty of end around for the Dallas Cowboys. He's done it week after week after week. He just tripped, guys. And when he trips, things happen. I kind of don't like this like theory on players where if a coach makes a play call, and I get it, the play call sucked. It didn't end up working. They ended up sniffing it out and stopping him really short. So I get that end of it. But when they make a play call and a player gets hurt, everyone has to go after the coach for making a play call,
It's
which
football.
they practice all the time. He's a football player. It just happens, guys. He can get hurt on that same play on a route. So I'm not too hurt about it. I heard the Cowboys media just blowing up about it, saying how frustrated they were about the situation. But I don't know. Things just happen. It's a dangerous game. And it was so freaky because all he did was trip under his own feet. So I don't see a problem with the play call. I don't see the problem with CD Lamb there. He just ended up getting hurt.
Yeah, I think Shoddy was looking for a spark, and I feel like CD runs one of these a game at minimum. So at least every other game he's run one, which is probably why they sniffed it out so quick. But I think it's just part of the game. It's just not a good part of the game. Pickens is a very good receiver. He's going to be a very good weapon for Dak, but he's still learning the offense. He's still getting his rapport. I don't think he was ready to be fully thrown into that spotlight last week, but a healthy Cowboys offense 3-4 weeks from now might be the best offense in the NFL. So,
and it's
they just
not
don't
looking
have
healthy right. Yeah, and if it was healthy, I think that'd be good. The running, let's start with the positives real quick for the Cowboys offense. The running game looked really good. Same as always, Javonte Williams is running like a beast out there. He looks like he's gaining confidence as he's running, and now he's getting to that second layer and smashing players, and I really love it because that's Javonte Williams I knew from college, so I expected the same thing at this point, although, ACLs later, I get it, but he looks much more confident out there. Then CeeDee Lamb goes out. That was huge. I like George Pickens. I think he was a great pickup for the Dallas Cowboys. He was never, in my mind, a wide receiver one. That's why Pittsburgh moved on from him so easily, and that's why I never didn't mind the trade because we're trading a 4th-round draft pick on him.
Yeah,
just for a 1-year contract. So I see no problem with it. But the downside is now when George Pickens is your number one, it's better than not having George Pickens. I'll give him that. But George Pickens is not going to be your star-studded wide receiver that could do the things that CeeDee Lamb could do out there for sure. And overall, the offensive play calling. Okay, so the biggest problem with Brian Schottenheimer when he was in Seattle was his predictability. And it was frustrating me how many times in the first 3 quarters he was running the ball on first down. Because if a team like Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator for the Bears, if he can predict your play calls, he's going to get you beat. And so one thing that I noticed is they were trying to run the ball, and for the most part, it actually worked. They were able to drive the ball. That's how they got 396 yards. They were able to drive it all day long. But then there is a certain point where the run game only gets you 2 yards or 1 yard. What do you do after that? And the play calling there was not good because what Dennis Allen decided to do was confuse Dak Prescott. He brought everyone up to the front of the line, making Dak having to figure out, okay, who's going to blitz, who's not, told him not to move. And then once they snapped the ball, they all went back to confuse him. And so every time that happened, Tom Brady pointed this out during the game. He would do what he would normally do, which is just dump it off to Ferguson. Okay, for a 3-yard game, which if it's a 3rd and 10, that ain't going to do you anything. He's going to get tackled. That's what Dennis Allen wanted you to do, and it didn't work. And that happened 3 or 4 times during the game. I can't remember the exact numbers, but when that happens over and over and over again, you've got to evolve your play calling to start combating that. You have to play chess with the defensive coordinator, try to get him off his heels. Another way to prevent that too for Dak, if you just motion someone, you can get a better read on who's covering who and what kind of coverage they're going to be doing. If it's man-to-man blitz and you just motion someone, now all of a sudden you know, okay, well, it's man-to-man, and I know it's not that man that's going to be blitzing me. So there's like a lot of little things out there that I was just really frustrated. Dennis Allen coached his butt off on that one. and he ended up stopping our offense. Dak's a smart quarterback. I think he can evolve from that. He's probably going to go hit the playroom, the watch the film and get that figured out for the future. But during the game, man, in the fog of war, that was really frustrating when your offense can't run out there. So overall, Cowboys are awful. I don't think this team is that good anymore. I said 9-8, 8-9, and that was based off beating teams like the Bears. And my overall review of this so far, if this defense does not at least get to top 20, we're in trouble. Your offense is going to have bad days, and that was just a bad day. And I think there's plenty of talent there to win some games, but you can't keep playing like this because there's no way an offense can keep up with this train wreck of a team. It's really bad right now in Dallas, but we'll see how it goes going forward. But I'm not too optimistic.
Yeah, it was rough. It was disappointing, and at this point, as a Cowboys fan, would you rather see them totally bottom out and give Jerry a chance to pick in the top 10 along with that extra picks, or are you just too wounded at this point?
No, I'm never a there's too much talent on this team to go ahead and do a full tank job. This is supposed to be a half rebuild. That's the idea of the 2 first-round draft picks. My problem with if you're starting to lose now, tank to get the top 10 pick, you have a new year head coach with all this talent. That's not good. That's not good just because you're breeding losing culture with the new coach that's in charge. So I don't like it. I get it. Mathematically, you want them to lose. You want them to get a higher draft pick. But psychologically, I don't think it's great at all. You start building a losing culture, it will resonate with the rest of the team. It's a cancer in the locker room, and it ends up becoming a huge problem over here. So I'm not for full tanking. I'm never for full tanking because of that, unless your team does. I mean, we have a franchise quarterback, whether he's the greatest or not. I don't think so, but at least he's top 15. We can agree on that. I think everyone can agree on that.
He's arguably top 10 when healthy.
Yeah, I'm just being civil, but yes, I would put him in top 10. But for the Dak haters, most everyone agrees that he's at least the top half of the league that could play real well. If that, you don't want to waste those years on that guy either, and you've got to start building a somewhat of a winning culture. My goals have shifted. I am now rooting for a 7-10 season over 8-9 or 9-8 because I think this team has way too many problems on their hands too. Cooper Beebe being down, Tyler Booker, the rookie being down now, and CeeDee Lamb all to high ankle sprains. I don't know what's going on there. We have bad ankles here in Dallas, I guess, but we're going to have a tough go, and I think you're going to find that out when I make my pick for week 4.
Awesome. All right. So that is Cowboys portion of the East Side News. We're going to pivot over. We'll cap off East Side News with the Patriots. So instead, we're going to do some quick hits. Right now, let's cover Bills Dolphins over in the AFC East. Mike McDaniel seems like he bought himself one more week as a head coach. At least, honestly, I don't see what you gain by firing him in the season, anyways. Especially with the way the hiring rules work in the NFL, you'll still be able to get who you want when you want. If that it'll be fine. But they only lost by 10 to the Buffalo Bills. That being said, they were completely unable to stop the run in any shape or form. James Cook, 19 rushes for 108. Yes, if you do the math, that is nearly 6 yards a carry, 5.7 officially. And with a long of only 26, so it's not like he ripped off a 60 or 70 yarder and coasted. He just was consistently getting those runs, and that was good. And then on the receiving end of things, Josh Allen doesn't have a receiver that he doesn't seem to like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 different receivers caught a ball. 10 were thrown to, and then 6. We had a whopping 6 with multiple catches. With Dalton Kincaid leading the way, 5 for 66 with a touchdown. On the offensive side of things for the Dolphins, they didn't look horrible. Well, Tua didn't look great, but the Dolphins themselves were functional. On the rushing side, Ollie Gordon, he went ahead and he got his first ever touchdown. He went 9 for 38 with that touchdown, including a 16-yard run. Devon Achane, 12 for 62, 5.2. So it looks like Washington at least is saying, you know what, we've got 2 functional running backs, and they're not going to wear Achane all the way into the ground, which is probably good. And then on the passing side of things, Tyreek Hill did 5 for 49 and a touchdown. Waddle 5 for 39 and a touchdown. So, there's weapons still for Miami. They're just outmatched. I think Miami could start coming on later in the year. It wouldn't shock me at all. And for Buffalo right now, I mean, looking at the rest of the AFC East, if they wanted to already project themselves to use a political election term, they want to go ahead and project that they have now won the AFC East. I'm okay with that because it looks like the Pats are the only team that might put up some of a fight. So right now for the Bills, it's just take care of business and stay healthy. What do you think about McDaniels? He continues to look more and more homeless when he takes the stage after games. What do you think? Should they hang on to him for the whole season? Should they cut bait as soon as they can?
Well, I mean, as long as the team's performing for him and not quitting, that's the ultimate goal right here. Whether he stays at the end of the year, don't think it really matters. It's just more of when you're talking about a mid-season firing, it's all about whether the team quits or not. So far, they're not quitting on him. I don't know what he's doing in practice. I know his press conferences are just awful. They are so bad right now.
Yeah.
The sarcastic guy who's lower energy and snarky works when you're winning, but they're not winning. So now it just looks really bad right now.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. Oh, there you are. You're back.
Something's going on with the stream. It's struggling today.
Yeah, I lost you for a minute there.
Okay.
But, I would think if I'm Miami, if I lose the next game or two, if I'm the management, I might say, you know what? Has Tyreek Hill behaved for the last couple of weeks? Let's offload him. Jalen Waddle, can we get something for him? Let's do it. Like, burn the thing down to the ground and start over, because I think the window has closed already on them, which is too bad. But Tua's got a deal. He's making a big money deal now. Let's see what is Tua's deal. Let's pull that up. Tua's contract. Let's see. He signed a 4-year, $212.4 million extension in July of 24. So that's 167 mil in guaranteed
that's an
money.
Interesting take where you just lose that talent.
So it's like he's gonna keep taking that money. You're stuck with him through 2028. I'm assuming, depending on how the contract works. There are some void years at the end that to help spread out some cost, but I think this was last year and this year was supposed to be the window, and they didn't get it. And I think maybe it's time to burn it down if I'm Miami and try again. But who knows? Maybe the Bengals want to or something. No, that they would never spend money on anybody, so they certainly wouldn't take Tua. But yeah, we'll see. Right now, those two, Bills and the Dolphins, two teams going completely different directions. And we get to see McDaniels on Monday night this week. They're playing the Jets if the Dolphins can't beat the Jets, you could see the owner go ahead and just say, okay, get out of here, McDaniels. I don't know if they will, just depending on what happens. The Jets have culture right now. They believe in their coach. Fields is out, but they're otherwise doing well, and things are going good. And then for the Bills next week, it's simple. Like I said, stay healthy. Stay healthy. They are playing the New Orleans Saints. So
With the
yeah,
13
that's
and a half
Miami.
favorites, by the way.
Yeah, they might not cover. Who cares? It's the NFL, unless you're betting on things. But I would say Bills just stay healthy. Miami, sorry, Miami Dolphins fans, you were so close to good things, and the rug got yanked out on you.
Yeah, and it really bums me up because I'm not the biggest Miami Dolphins fans at all, but I do like Mike McDaniel. I like Tyreek Hill's game. I always wanted Tua to do well, and then Jalen Waddle's really good. H-Chan is looking really good out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're so right about that because they have so much talent, and you're telling me you can't work with this. I almost wouldn't take the approach of tear down, rebuild. I almost would take the approach of maybe I just need a new coach because they just need someone motivating them. And might I suggest a pretty good coach that's fiery and they can get that motivation up? Brian Flores. Do you think that'd be a good choice?
Yes, except for the fact that him and Tua would probably immediately get into a fist fight. And I think there may or may not still be a lawsuit that's being worked on. I do think Flores should be getting a second chance in the NFL soon.
Yeah,
but
he was
never
turning the
again
Dolphins
in Miami.
around.
Never again in Miami.
No, he won't work for him. But I just find it funny because I think Brian Flores would have done fine under with the amount of talent this team was, and then I think McDaniel took it over with his play calling. But that's something I keep hearing about is like, well, why do we get rid of Brian Flores? I don't know. It was a good question. He's a really good coach.
It wasn't X's and O's. It was other stuff.
Yeah, we can insinuate some. Well, and he didn't get along with Tua, and Tua's good.
They sided with Tua. So, yeah, what else has happened in that NFC East of yours?
Yeah, so NFC East, we'll go ahead and get into the crazy game that was the Philadelphia Eagles against the Rams. Big game over there. It ended up being the Eagles winning 33-26. And if you heard that score, you'd think it was, relatively kind of close, but not really. Not the case. So one thing that's really funny about this game, let me start off with the stats, but Jalen Hurts completed 16 out of 25 passes, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts had a really good game, not in the first half, but in the second half really stepped it up and utilized his weapons, finally, his back pocket. A.J. Brown, 6 receptions for 109 yards, and Devontae Smith, 4 receptions for 52 yards, 1 touchdown. Saquon Barkley did not have a really good game over there. He had 76 rushing yards on 17 carries. For Saquon Barkley, that's not good at all. And that was against a Rams defense that has not been playing well against the run, but they really did gear their focus and making sure Saquon Barkley was stopped. Started off as a terrible half for the Philadelphia Eagles. They were down 26 to, I believe, 7. Heading into the second half, might be getting that a little wrong, but 26 to 7 heading into that. And all the Rams did was basically they said, we're just going to stop Saquon Barkley. And I've been saying this for a while, that's the Eagles' game plan. They're going to try to run it on you till you go away and perish. And A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith complaining, be damned. They're not going to care. But then in the second half, you're down by a couple touchdowns, and now you've got to unleash what you do have. And this is what makes this Eagles team so good because they do have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts, a phenomenal quarterback. He went out there and cut them up and won the game. And on the other end of it, the Rams had so many red zone opportunities and could not capitalize and ended up kicking field goals instead of touchdowns and then got the Eagles back. Two times they were in the red zone. They had to kick a field goal or
Yeah, I was just going to say, a lot of people were saying going into this week, Jalen Hurts can't play
Robert.
quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. So I was going to say, a lot of people going into this game, the media was pushing the whole Hurts isn't a QB, isn't a good QB narrative, which is ridiculous. And that second half showed you why the Philadelphia Eagles paid Jalen Hurts all that money. They don't care about stats. They do what it takes to win. If they need to win with Jalen Hurts, they'll do it. If they need to win with Saquon Barkley, they'll do it. If they need to win by rushing for 95 tush pushes in a row, they'll do it. And the Eagles are a good team.
They're a very good team, and they were able to play in a dogfight of a game where you had to pass to end up winning the game, and Jalen Hurts did a phenomenal job at that. Their defense, although really bad in the first half, allowing the Rams to get in field goal range time and time again, the Rams could not capitalize. They've got a special teams problem over there. It's one thing to have one blocked kick, but then when you have the game-winning kick and you did not scheme or protect it or find different ways to stop the block, they ended up blocking the game-winning field goal and running it back for the touchdown. Now, for you gamblers out there, and this would be on Scott Van Pelt's.
Oh, this was a bad beat. Great finish.
The Eagles were up by 1 point against the Rams, and when they're lining up for a field goal, you're thinking, hey, no matter what happens, I'm really good. They end up blocking the punt and returning it for a touchdown, and what turned into a 1 point game all of a sudden turned into an 8 point game, making a lot of people that bet on the Rams to cover the 3.5 points out of the match. This is the classic bad beat thing. I didn't even understand why he was returning it. The clock's hit 0-0. I would tell him to immediately go down just because I don't want to come from behind fumble or anything like that.
He wanted it,
but
the team wanted it.
He wanted it, and the team did a wonderful job at covering him, protecting him, and no one stopped him. So it ended up working out for the Eagles. But man, if you're a gambling man, that was one crazy game for him to return that back and beat the 3.5 point spread.
For sure. It certainly was. And then back over in the AFC East, we've got those Jets, those lovable Jets who continue to find ways to hurt their fans. I am so happy I was not born to be a Jets fan. I'll tell you that. They were down big. It was 20-6 at halftime. They came all the way back. They had 21 points in the fourth quarter, only to watch the Buccaneers still do it. Baker Mayfield was fantastic, led a thrilling finish all the way down, and then it was just a chip shot, a 36-yard chip shot field goal as time expired, and the Bucs are going to be a hard out all season for everybody. They took the Jets' best shot. The Bucs, I think, learned, hey, maybe we shouldn't lax off a little bit. But this was the Todd Bowles revenge game, so there was that. And then Baker Mayfield also did say it was also a Baker Mayfield revenge game because he did say after the fact that it was personal for him today because it was Steve Wilkes, who is the defensive coordinator for the Jets, that cut him with the Panthers. Yes, that Panthers team that had Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield at the same time.
Yeah, and there's a lot of weird ties to it too. Tyrod Taylor ended up playing for the Jets as well, who was the guy that lost his job in the Cleveland Browns to Baker Mayfield too.
Yep.
A lot of people forget that too. So
yeah,
weird revenge. Everyone was revenging it up.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor, he's a good, smart quarterback. I hate his arm strength. I hate it so much. It's such a weak ball.
He had a solid game, 26 of 36 for 197, 5.5 average. He had those 2 touchdowns, but he did also have a pick. That's going to happen with Tyrod Taylor. And, he was able to make it move with his legs, 8 for 48. So the team played well. Garrett Wilson went off because, of course, he did, because in my dynasty league, I put him on my bench for this week once he didn't have his buddy starting. I didn't win this week, if y'all are keeping track between CD's injury and Garrett Wilson on the bench. I did not win in my dynasty league this week. So, Tyrod was good, but also that interception plus a fumble that was lost. And that's why you get someone that can manage a game or two, but there's a reason why he is a backup and not a starter in the league. So the Jets are going to keep being the Jets. So that's now 2 AFC East teams sitting at 0-3.
Yeah, and that Tyrod Taylor interception was a classic Tyrod Taylor duck throw that ended up being picked off. But I will say, isn't it shocking? He's an older guy and he's still running the ball like that. He looks pretty fast out there.
Yeah, he can move. He's got in good shape. Now, unlike the thing about not all 0-3s are the same. Miami's 0-3, they're looking at their windows slamming shut or trying to find someone to bring the magic back next year, if at all possible. The Jets, they're becoming Aaron Glenn's team. Aaron Glenn took a page out of Mike Vrabel's book and went running down the sideline at one point in that game. He's establishing his culture. The Jets are going to – I think they found the right guy in Aaron Glenn. I think he's a motivator of men. I think he's a fantastic coach. Players are going to want to play for him. And the AFC East next year, I think, could have at least 3 teams battling for the playoffs, if not 4 if the Dolphins find the right coach. So I think you might see the AFC East flip in a year, but that's still a year out. So not all 0-3s are the same. If I'm a Jets fan, yeah, that's a gut punch. But then I'm also saying, but they're competing and they're playing hard. They didn't fold up when they were down like past Jets teams would have done.
Don't be surprised if it was like Dan Campbell's, his first year where he went 1-7, started off that way, and then ended up getting that team 8-9 by the end of the year. So I think
they haven't looked back since.
yeah, and they've been great.
Yeah.
So I expect the same thing for the Jets for sure.
Yeah. So then that leaves us one more team in the NFC East.
2 more, right?
Oh, yeah, you
got
got
the Giants and the Commanders.
Okay, you got the Giants and the Commanders. Yeah, that's right.
I didn't get a divisional matchup, so a lot more work
that's
for me
right.
this week here.
That's right.
So, the Commanders, there's not much to talk about it because they played against the Raiders, and they're very upset with losing as many games as they have, especially against losing that game against the Green Bay Packers, going 1-1 because of that. And they took it out on the poor Raiders. The Raiders weren't ready for it, and they won the game 41-24. I mean, 6 touchdowns total scored. Marcus Mariota, though, because Jaden Daniels is out for the game, ended up completing 21-29 passes for 201 yards, 1 touchdown. He did his part. He basically was a bus driving quarterback there that ended up doing what he needs to do to just win him the game. But obviously, Jeremy Mickles, another running back I'm not too familiar with, comes into the game, 10 carries for 48 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions for 18 yards. And then we all know Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who had 8 carries for 35 yards. Not his best game out there. 4 receptions for 28 yards. He even contributed out there. But the 2 running backs combined ended up getting him a lot of rushing yards. And Mariota, one thing about him, and I've noticed this about Mariota for some odd reason, it kind of reminded me of Sam Darnold when he was a backup too. It seems like when you need to install him for a random game for him to win, Mariota can turn it up. He's got a hell of an arm.
And he's smart. He's very smart.
He's smart with the ball. He can run too, which is a big benefit of him. He was deadly accurate back in Oregon. That's why I thought he would actually end up being a starting quarterback in the NFL. Something happens after game 3 or 4, and then it starts falling apart after that. But he seems to just be going par for the course, stepping in, doing what he has to do, and win. I don't think, Jaden Daniels, when he comes back, you just get him up there. But I think he got some time to wait. Marcus Mariota can take this thing for a couple more weeks, I think.
Oh, he certainly can. He's been in the system. He's been in the system for a little bit. So I think it's very smart to make sure Jaden Daniels is fully healthy, because as long as you're not losing any ground in the NFC, there's no reason to rush him back, because you want Jaden Daniels healthy and ready to go for December and January.
Yeah, you just want him back and ready for the playoffs, and he is your playoff quarterback, I think. Jayden Daniels is phenomenal. I think he's going to be the star of the NFL, in my opinion. I just love his game. Love it so much. Smart, gritty, everything you could ever want from a quarterback, and he could run. So, obviously Mariota's just stepping in, just trying to get past the injury, but he's doing a really good job over there. And then their defense was able to stop what I think is a really bad offense with the Raiders. Geno Smith wasn't able to do too much. Most of his yards were trash yards towards the end of the game. He got 271 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, one fumble loss. But the Raiders don't look like they're in good shape. And I think the Commanders did what they were supposed to do. You take on a bad team and you make sure to remind them who's the better team. And the Commanders did that. It's going to be a really interesting conversation for later in the year, the division, because it's clearly going to be between the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles. And although Commanders had a bad week against Green Bay, I wouldn't hold it past them to come back and win this division for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a possibility. Why don't we stay in the NFC East real quick? There's not much to say about the Giants, but I think we both have a couple thoughts, and there was some breaking news today.
Oh, there was? You got some?
Jackson Dart is starting next week.
Oh, okay. Well, that was news to me, and I'll definitely let's make it real brief. I'll tell you who's not going to win the division, and that's going to be the New York Giants, who are in a terrible, terrible boat. Kind of reminding the Dallas Cowboys how bad their defense is, because again, they had a terrible, terrible performance, only getting 281 yards against the Kansas City Chiefs. So it seems like the outlier is going to be the Dallas Cowboy game, where they all of a sudden lit it up like no other and ended up, losing the game, but they lit it up real well. The Giants did not do well against the Chiefs. To be fair, the Chiefs defense is legit. That's actually their top quality over there. Played against the Chiefs. Not many people expected them to win, and they didn't. They lost 22-9, and their Week 3 matchup didn't bar well too much for the Giants.
Yes and no about how the Giants played. I watched a good chunk of that game. I don't know if it speaks more to the Chiefs or to the Giants, but the Giants were competitive for good chunks of that game. Ultimately, though, the better coaching won out, and it was what it was. Russell Wilson, he was trying, but then he was also a little bit too patient at times. He threw one all the way up the tunnel and got an intentional grounding. Russell Wilson, he is who we thought he was. It's Jackson Dart's time, but in the way that as a Pats fan, we were worried for Drake May last year when he came in. It's not like Russell Wilson was getting tons of time, or his pocket's been very good. The line's not been very good in front of him. So I think Dart needs to come in, show that he can do things, and survive. And I think it'll be okay. But yeah, I'm looking forward to breaking down how Dart looked in his first start next week.
Yeah, I'm going to be excited about that. I'll be honest with you, though, with Dayball being the head of this thing, I think their offense is not going to be looking that much better. I think Jackson Dart, if I was the Giants GM, I would tell him just bench him for the entire year and wait for a quality coach to come in and actually save him. I'm really worried because I think Jackson Dart has a lot of talent, and I don't want this guy's mental ability to just get destroyed out there at losing week after week after week. So something I'm worried about, but that's the old debate.
I mean, even Peyton Manning went 1-15 in his rookie year, so it's more about learning and growth than about on-field results for sure. But then we can segue into the Patriots here by saying, Kansas City, they have 2 receivers that were on New England's roster last year, and they're looking pretty good. So I think there's something to be said for a solid offensive coach and an offensive scheme and a veteran quarterback. More so than it's just all on the receivers. And then my last note about the Giants real quick, I meant to bring this up a minute ago. Cam Skattebo, if he makes it through the whole season healthy, I'm going to be shocked. I know he's little, but they replayed it a few times like it was like a good thing. He kept barreling down and leaning in and using his head as like a battering ram. And then he spent most of the game just doing this. So is he just always concussed, or is he always on cocaine? I don't know what it is, But if I'm the Giants, I'm like, hey,
I think
hey,
that's
dude,
just oh, go
dude,
ahead.
that you don't lead with your head. That the helmets aren't that good. You're gonna get concussed, and your season's gonna get wrecked. So I would certainly keep that in mind. It looks like Nick froze a little bit there. There we go. Now we got Nick back. But yeah, so leading going into now the AFC
I'm
East,
back.
the last team to talk about. Welcome back, Nick. Is going to be the New England Patriots, and wow, that was a frustrating game this week. The defense only gave up 21 points, and if you're in the NFL, if you only give up 21 points, that means you did enough as a defense to win the game. So the defense was doing what it was supposed to. Granted, it's a strength. We knew it would be a strength for them. Um, uh, but yeah, they got 6 tackles for loss. They didn't get any sacks, but they got 3 quarterback hits, and then Robert Spillane, who was a great addition in the offseason, a solid, tough player, good culture guy. He gets a pick. So like the defense is there. We just need the offense to catch up. And I do think some of it is Drake May is learning a new system. Yes, it's a Josh McDaniels system. It's still going to take a little time, but also I'm a little worried because is this a Josh McDaniels with Cam Newton system that contributed no offensive function at all, or are we going back to the Josh McDaniels who was the Tom Brady whisperer? I need a little bit more of the McDaniels with Brady than I do the McDaniels with Cam Newton. But also, hold on to the ball. If I was Mike Vrabel, I would make the entire Pats offense, even the O line, walk around holding footballs all day like they were in high school for 1 or 2 days this week. Because my goodness, 4 fumbles, 2 by Ramondre Stevenson. All right, let's get him in the background. Let's show the world what Travion Henderson can do. We had one by May. We had one by Gibson, and then May also had an interception. So 5 turnovers, and they were still in this game. So I'm looking glass half full here. 5 turnovers. They were still in this game. Glass half empty. That was probably a critical game when it comes to down to who's going to make the playoffs in those 6 and 7 seeds. So to lose that to Pittsburgh, who's probably not going to be winning a division anytime soon, when they got Baltimore in their same division, but will be fighting for a wild card. That was rough. I would like to apologize briefly to Andy Boralius, our rookie kicker. I was very angry at him last week. I still don't love him, but he made both his extra points. He didn't attempt a field goal, made both extra points. Meanwhile, Parker Romo cost the former Falcons kicker, I'm blanking on his name. I don't want to say it wrong. His job, and then promptly missed his first 2 field goals this week. So I think if we've learned one thing, kicking is hard. Winning is hard, but so is kicking. Also, this is the kind of game it was for the Patriots. They scored 14 points. Nick, do you want to know how many times they punted?
Well, judging by 5 turnovers, I would assume I'm going to go 0. That's my guess.
You're close. They punted 1 time. Punter did great. 59-yard punt. Good job. Punter did his job this week. But yeah, 5 turnovers. You only punt it once. Come on. So glass half full. They're learning, they're growing, they're developing. We have the right coaching staff in place. I think we have the right quarterback in place. Hopefully, another week means an even healthier Stephon Diggs. Wide receivers that start learning to do more things, and let's put Stevenson on ice maybe this week and let Henderson just go off. Yeah. One other non-game note. Oh, go ahead. You have a comment on the game, so go ahead. Go with that.
The only question I have, and I'll be really brief. I know this is so Gibson fumbled, and so did Stevenson. Like, what did and Trayvon did not? Am I correct?
He did not have a fumble, but they were spreading it out. So the rushing breakdown. Drake May was the leading rusher for the Patriots, so no one could really get it going for New England. 7 for 45. Gibson had 7 for 28 with his fumble. Henderson had 11 for 28. So he had a little bit more trouble getting through that Steelers D line. Stevenson had 4 for 18 and 2 fumbles. Stevenson, time to take a break.
I guess he was just having a bad game.
Yeah, but he's been having. He had
Henderson was just
week.
having a bad game.
Yes and no, but also he got 11 carries, but there was also 11 more out there. So give him 5 or 6 more. Let him get going.
I agree.
Our good friend of the pod, Ryan, was on a few weeks ago, and he talked about how frustrating Stevenson was because he'd get the ball and just fall down. And it seems like we got that Stevenson this week. So in what's going to be a spicy game against a Panthers team that's got a decent offense, turn Henderson loose.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Let him cook, right? Let him cook.
Yeah, for sure.
More than 11 carries.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was my only point.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then the one point I want to make outside of the game, longtime Patriots assistant and front office member Bobby Greer. He passed away at the age of 82. He was an assistant with the Pats from 81 to 93, then was in their front office from 93 to 2000, then moved on to the Texans, and he was in the Texans front office for 16 years. But his legacy, besides the fact that he clearly was very talented, had a long career in the NFL, his sons are both GMs. His son, Chris, is the GM of the Dolphins, who we were talking about earlier, and his son, Mike, is the GM of the San Jose Sharks. So that's a pretty cool legacy to leave behind. They know how to manage sports teams.
Yeah, and they're really good. San Jose Sharks, I know they're on the rebuild, but the Miami Dolphins, you can't blame the GM. He brought the talent over there, so I think he's done a wonderful job as well. So sorry about Bobby's loss, but he's bringing on a good legacy for sure.
Yes, he is. Sorry, I'm bouncing around a little bit there. I had to get my computer plugged in. But yeah, so there you go. That was a extended edition of Eastside News, which means let's do a quick hit about what's going on with the Colts.
They might be permanent. We might need to do less Eastside News and do a little bit more Colts because they are doing really well for sure.
Yeah.
All right, but yes, we will go into what's going on with the Colts.
What's going on with the Colts? What's going on with the Colts? What's going on with the Colts? Is it go blue? Let's ride. Or lucky shoe? Who knows? Who knows? What's going on with the Colts?
And yep, what is going on with those Colts? Just as we predicted, they are now 3-0. We're not surprised they won this week, but if you listen to us preseason, we didn't know much about them. We still don't know a ton, but we're learning because they're for those of you new here, they are our team of the pod that we randomly spun the wheel and landed on. So we are rooting along with our hometown teams of the Patriots and the Cowboys, and they are 3-0, and they are looking good. What were your takeaways this week, Nick?
Get Danny Dimes the MVP and get it to him now. That's one of my first thoughts on that entire game.
Yeah, for sure. And Jonathan Taylor looked like vintage Jonathan Taylor in this game. Granted, they were up against the Titans, but still, they looked great. They looked really, really good. Their defense didn't let Cam Ward do much of anything. Jonathan Taylor, 17 for 102 and 3 touchdowns. Bam. He's your player of the game. Daniel Jones just made it happen. One of those games he let the rushing do the lead work. 18 to 25, also with a touchdown there. So that's good. No turnovers on offense there for the Colts, unlike our other two teams.
This team, it's almost like we were doubting him the we weren't. We always thought they were going to go 3-0, but we were doubting them for heading into the year. And the more you look at the team, the more you're going, why? Is it just because of the quarterback? Because that must have just been it. That's what my focus was on, was Danny Dimes. But you got Jonathan Taylor. You got Michael Pittman.
I think we lost Nick again there, but he was talking about all the weapons that we do have for the Colts, with all those receivers, with Jonathan Taylor, with Danny Dimes being a functional guy. So that's a lot of really good stuff, and it's impressive. And I think we get to see if they're for real as far as the Super Bowl contender this next week when they are up against the Rams. The Rams are an NFC favorite. If the Colts, if they win, amazing. If they hang with them and keep it close, that's also impressive, because I think they're already 3-0, and watching the rest of their division, they might only need to get nine wins to win the division. And we're only 3 weeks in, and they're a third of the way there. So I think the Colts should be a pretty solid pick to make the playoffs. I'm really curious to see how they do going up against a true contender this week.
Yeah, but I've got a lot of buy-in for the Indianapolis Colts. I think they're gonna do really well this week, and their defense looked pretty good again. I mean, Cam Ward, it's his rookie year, so I'm not gonna be too picky on him. I'm not too sure if he's doing too well right now. I would err on the side of he's just gonna throw a lot of interceptions right now, but hopefully he improves later for the Titans. But right now, this is your chance to take advantage of them. But the Colts look like they're going to go far, and it looks like a team to be reckoned with for sure.
Yeah, definitely for sure. They're looking good, and I'm excited. They've got a good story with their ownership structure. They've got a good story with comeback player of the year, Daniel Jones, leading that, as well as getting MVP votes right now. Hey, maybe comeback player of the year, Jonathan Taylor. Like, come on. They're doing fantastic. A lot of people preseason were talking about Shane Steichen in the running for first coach fired. Yeah, he's in the running for something. He's currently in the running for coach of the year. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen this week with their first, I think, real true test. And I think it's time to talk some picks.
Yeah, it's we're gonna go into our picks and see how we do on the week 4 matchup. Has not been going well for old Nick, but we'll see if it gets better.
Making picks with Nick and Roll. Nick and Roll. The pick might be a hatchet job. Less reliable than a cone on the cob, but I love hearing picks from Nick and Roll.
It's time to do some picks, and I say we just go in the order that they're going to be playing this week. They're all at different times. Leading off at noon on the Central Time, 1 o'clock on the East Coast, you've got Carolina visiting New England. Nick, what are your thoughts on this one?
Carolina going against New England, I would imagine that should be a pretty easy win with New England. I see a lot of positives going on with New England out there, and their defense is going to be really good. I don't see a problem with that. It's just a matter of the offense just doesn't turn the ball over. Give me New England all day. I think New England should be able to win that game and win it pretty handily.
You know, before this last weekend, I would have completely agreed with you. Right now, at the moment, the line is New England minus 5.5, but they were so sloppy against the Steelers. And then the Carolina Panthers defense looked fantastic this week, pitching a shutout against a team that's got possibly the most weapons in the NFL in Atlanta. And they put up 30-point win in a division game. Wow, that's got me scared. But you know what? I think I don't think the Patriots have 5 turnovers this week. I think it's lower than that. And I think if they can keep it to less than 2 turnovers, and they let Trayvon Henderson actually do his thing, I agree with you. I'm glad I don't have to pick against the spread because I think this one's going to come down to last team with the ball wins. But I'm going to go with New England.
There's a lot of good things going on in Carolina, but I feel New England's starting to turn it around. They're getting that offense together. They look good. It was just 5 turnovers. That's going to happen.
Yeah,
they got them all out of the way, Rob.
They're still growing. And then we've got in the afternoon at 3:05, we've got possibly, if there wasn't a big headline with our last game, this would be the game of the week. But we got the Indianapolis Colts at the Los Angeles Rams, the first true test. At the moment, the line is LA only by 3.5, so that's impressive. That means Vegas is saying, hey, these Colts, they're not too bad. You've been hinting at it. Are you picking the Colts here?
I can't do it. I saw that Rams game, and I see a lot of good things, and now they're going to be frustrated too. They're going to be able to stop that run. If they can actually continue stopping the run like they did with Saquon Barkley, I just think the Colts are going to be cooked. It's going to be a good game because I think the Colts are going to be able to score on that defense, but if it's just coming down to the Rams defense. Can the Rams defense stop Jonathan Taylor? If they stop Jonathan Taylor, you're putting the ball in Danny Dimes' hands. As great of a season as he's having, I think he will have a bad game in him, and it's going to happen at some point. And the Rams offense, I love the Rams offense. I love what they're doing right now. They've got a lot of options out there. The red zone offense needs improvement, but I think they'll be able to improve that against the Colts. It's going to be a little different. I know I like what the Colts are doing, but I got to go Rams. I got to go LA Rams. I just think that's a really good football team that could compete for the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, and I think they should. I think for the Rams, if they're not in the Final Four of the NFC this year, it's a failure. They might say if they're not in the Super Bowl this year, it's a failure, especially as Stafford's clearly winding down his career, but still looking pretty good as he's doing it. I want to flip that script on you, but I can't. If this game was in Indy, I don't know, but it's not. It's in LA. I'm going to say the Rams are winning this one, but I really, really want to see. I would love to see the Colts keep this to a 1-possession game, and if they do that, I think that even if they in a loss, they've announced themselves to the NFL that they're here to play this year. So yeah. Rams.
All right. So far we're the same, and unfortunately I don't see much of a difference at this because
I think we're matching all the way through because clearly I'm picking the Green Bay Micah Parsons. But Nick, what's some good news we want to talk about this game? What are we going to be doing?
So we're going to do our first live feed of the year. We've been talking about it for some time, but this is going to be our first one where we're going to be watching the Dallas Cowboys and getting instant reactions to my frustrations of Micah Parsons sacking Dak Prescott 6 times during this game and causing a lot of problems. But it should be really fun if you're a viewer because you get to see my frustration at the minute of it and Rob trolling me, encouraging my anger the whole entire time.
Yeah, so over under one time that Micah actually physically picks up Dak, walks him a little bit, and then places him down.
I think the Cowboys' goal is just make sure that Micah Parsons or Dak Prescott gets out alive because this is going to be a train wreck. But over under, I would give it 1. He's going to do it at least one time. Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be real bad, guys. I only have bad feelings.
And it's an angry Green Bay team that, as Micah Parsons said, shit the bed against Cleveland. So they're going to come in angry. They're going to come in ready. My pick is the Packers. What do you think?
Packers are going to dominate this football game. This is going to be the one that, and even when the Cowboys are good going against the Green Bay Packers, whether the Green Bay Packers are good or not, we never beat the Green Bay Packers. So
especially in Dallas.
So it doesn't really make a difference how this team's been a thorn in our side anyway, but with Micah Parsons in there, game over, buddy. This thing is the spread is at 6.5 for the Green Bay Packers, giving them 6.5 points. No, they're giving the Cowboys 6.5 points.
It's not high enough.
Oh my gosh, it's not high enough. I don't know who. It's the Dallas sports fans just jumping in and betting on things because that's the only reason why I could see why it's even at 6.5. Bet the Packers. Put your life savings on it because they will be the ones dominating this football game. I just don't see the Cowboys even coming anywhere close to this team.
Yeah, neither do I, but it's going to be a fun watch. It's definitely, from storyline perspective, it's Sunday Night Football. It's Micah coming back to Dallas. It's Jerry possibly giving 10,000 interviews in the next few days. And honestly, Jerry's probably going to be patrolling the sideline most of the game because he's going to want as much TV time as he can get. So we're going to be live taking you through the whole game, the ups and the downs, and we hope you join us. We'll be live on YouTube. We'll be live on X. We might even be able to make it live on our Instagram, but definitely on YouTube, definitely on X. You'll be able to find us there. Also, where you should be following us already, please make sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, on our X channel. If you prefer to listen to your pods without our beautiful faces looking at you, go ahead and find us on Spotify, the Nick and Rob Homer Hour. And you can listen along the whole way. We won't be live on Spotify on Sunday, but we will be live on YouTube and X for sure. So give us a follow, tell a friend, and hey, because you're listening to us, that means you won't have to listen to Chris Collinsworth. So keep that in mind.
That was a good selling point. Oh my gosh, you are a marketer, Rob. Nice work, sir.
I try sometimes. Oh,
but yeah,
Collinsworth literally was celebrating Mahomes causing a fumble himself as a good football play this week. It's too much.
Sounds like Collinsworth, but I kind of like it. My favorite is Collinsworth during Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes game. That's that's greatness over there. But
oh my goodness,
yes. Yes, so we'll definitely see you next time, and please join in as we watch it live and give us feedback. Give me hell. I don't care. Roast me. I don't care anymore. I mean, so I'll try to dish it back as best I can, but man, this Cowboys team's upsetting, but we will see you next time for sure.
We'll see you. Have a good one, everybody. We will see you Sunday night.
Sunday night.